recently came across a quote that I believe really speaks to what I want to convey to you today. And here's the quote: "The darker the room, the more necessary the light." Well, as I've discussed in prior tidbits, the world in which we live seems to be becoming increasingly dark and dangerous. We have to be mindful of Jesus' words in Matthew 24, especially verses 3 through 14, and I will encourage you to read that on your own. But in spite of how concerned we may be about the direction of the world, it's all a part of God's plan. Now, having said that, let me just briefly discuss this darkness that I'm referring to. You've likely become familiar with a term, and it's a troubling term, at least to me, and it's used often in our world today. It's the term cancel culture. This is a cultural phenomenon in which an individual or groups are deemed to have acted or spoken in an unacceptable manner, and as a result are ostracized, boycotted, shunned, fired, even assaulted. Now, history is also being revised to meet the belief of those seeking to cancel something that actually happened and choosing either to disregard that it actually happened or to revise the event to fit into their box of opinion. This phenomenon is greatly aided by social media. But I'd just like to share with you, and again, this is my opinion, that evangelical Christians, that is, those of us who are believers in Jesus, whose mission it is to share the good news of Jesus, we are more likely to be canceled than ever before in history. Now that means our message is more needed than ever before. Jesus said in John 3:19, "Light has come into the world, and men love the darkness rather than the light, for their deeds were evil. For everyone who does evil hates the light and does not come to the light, for fear his deeds will be exposed." Now, of course, Jesus is speaking of himself as being the light of the world. And when we as believers seek to illuminate the darkness with that light of the world, it's no wonder that those who are perpetuating the evil in our world want to cancel the Christian message out of fear of their evil deeds being exposed for what they truly are. An example. Just a few days ago, The Hague, that's that global hub of international law and arbitration, condemned the nation of Israel for their continued efforts to rid the world of the terrorist organization Hamas. And this in spite of the atrocities instigated by Hamas last October 7th, when without warning they attacked innocent people in Israel, murdering, kidnapping, raping, and committing unspeakable acts on children, the elderly, and just about anyone whom they came in contact with. Now just think about that. A court with as much clout as The Hague, siding with a terrorist organization rather than a nation trying to ensure the safety of its people from terrorist attacks and atrocities. That's a supreme example of the darkness that we now live in. The phrase evil is good and good is evil. The prophet Isaiah prophesied that in Isaiah 5:20. And he speaks of things that have been traditionally thought to be good and are now increasingly being spoken of as being evil, while those who speak out against those evils are labeled as judgmental bigots, evil, oppressive. Believers in Jesus as being the light of the world are those who call evil for what it really is. It's sin. And as a result, their message is being canceled. So let me encourage you today, tidbitters. Jesus' final words in that passage in Matthew 24 tell us, "The ones who endure to the end will be saved. And this gospel, my good news, shall be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all the nations, and then the end will come." So what does that mean for us in practical terms? Keep doing good. No matter what the world may call you or try to cancel you, keep doing good. Let your life be a testimony to the world of what Jesus can do to dispel darkness. Jesus encouraged his followers, and I believe he's encouraging us in John 16:33, where he said, "Have peace. In this world you're going to have tribulation, but take courage. I have overcome the world."